This year's first edition of Battle of the Blues ends with a big win for the Duke Blue Devils at Cameron Indoor Stadium. Final score 73, Duke 68, Carolina.
This rivalry never disappoints. Right now the Blue Devils are celebrating their victory. We're waiting to hear from the players and coaches about tonight's game. Thank you for joining us. I'm Deborah Morgan.
And I'm Gerald Owens. Sky 5 is over Cameron Indoor Stadium right now as excited Duke fans are making their way toward the quad, many of them to probably set a fire.
Oh yeah, they have a burn permit for tonight, so you know that there will be a fire tonight. And we have live team coverage from Chapel Hill to Durham. We begin with Ken Smith outside Cameron Indoor Stadium, where the fans are celebrating a win tonight. Ken?
Yeah, Deborah and Gerald, you're absolutely right. Some very happy fans are pouring out of Cameron Indoor Stadium right now. I got to tell you, to start with, these Blue Devils fans did not have a lot to cheer about because, you know, Carolina sprinted out to that lead, but I was inside when Duke took the lead, and you could not hear yourself think inside Cameron Indoor Stadium. It was that loud. I've seen students already sprinting across this parking lot in order to get to the quad to continue this celebration. And let's check in on the quad with my colleague RENEE CHOU.
Ken, for a while, it almost seemed like there wasn't going to be a celebration the way the first half was going, but sure enough, Duke got the job done, took down their arch rival Carolina, and yes, the party is on. It was fascinating to see as soon as the game ended, everyone in their dorms just start streaming out and they start heading in the center area of the quad. I'll step out of the way so you can check out just how this crowd is building, and yes, they have the fire going. This is how Duke fans celebrate a win over North Carolina.
Our coverage continues now with Adam Owens live on Franklin Street in Chapel Hill. And Adam, boy, that first half certainly looked like it was going Carolina's way.
It's been a very stressful time up here at the top of the Hill restaurant here on Franklin Street. There was a lot of noise and a lot of excitement inside, but it has died down, as you can tell behind me right now. And you look down on Franklin Street. Had this been a win for the Tar Heels, this would have been packed with a bunch of people. You can see a lot of officers are in place. We're ready for just that event, but it just didn't turn out for these guys.
All right, Adam Owens, thank you so much.
And UNC coach Roy Williams is addressing the media. Let's listen in.
Well, we're extremely disappointed, to say the least.
UNC coach Roy Williams talking to the media says the intensity, the best he's seen all year from his team. Of course, disappointed, but
disappointed in the outcome, but not in his team.
Right,
you know,
as
had
proud
a good
as
effort.
he can be in a loss that I've ever seen him.
And I saw those threes that Thornton was making, and you could tell the momentum. That's where it all shifted. Not only did Duke take the lead, but then the momentum just kept going after that. So we are going to hear from Coach K then shortly.
Yes, and we'll have much more in tonight's game throughout the hour, including the victory celebration over there in Durham.
And again, we are waiting on Coach K to talk to everyone. That could happen at any time, as well as locker room interviews with players from both teams.
We'll also take you inside a world shrouded in secrecy. We'll show you what it's like to be one of the mascots in this rivalry. We'll be right back.
We need rescue inside the auditorium. Multiple victims.
The scene chaotic.
Got 7 down in Peter Knight. 7 down.
The victims terrified and running for their lives.
Team 6, we got another person outside shot in the leg, a female. I got people running out of the theater that are shot.
The overnight massacre in Colorado plunges a community and a nation into mourning.
I've got a child victim. I need rescue at the back door of Theater 9 now.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Gerald Owens.
And I'm Jackie Hyland. New details continue to be revealed about the horror inside that theater. Tonight, the death toll remains the same. 12 people were killed in the attack. 58 others were injured. Within the hour, we learned 30 of those hurt are still in the hospital, 11 in critical condition.
Officials have removed the bodies of 10 victims who died at the theater. 2 others died at the hospital.
Just moments ago, we heard from the governor of Colorado. He spoke to the media outside the University of Colorado Hospital.
The whole country recognizes that this is something that we don't accept, we can't explain at this point, but we're not going to just let it happen to us. We're going to push back.
Tonight, police have begun meeting with family members of those killed in the shooting.
A law enforcement source told CNN the suspect, James Holmes, colored his hair red and told police he was the Joker. Police say Holmes burst into a midnight showing of the new Batman movie and opened fire.
This is reenactment video now of the shooting. A law enforcement source says Holmes purchased a movie ticket, then snuck out the exit door and propped it open. He then geared up and returned to the theater through that exit door. That's when the shooting began. Again, 12 people were killed, 58 others were injured. Holmes is scheduled to appear in court on Monday morning. And while we continue to learn more about what happened, the motive for the shootings remains a mystery tonight. Teresa Garcia is in Aurora with more on what we're learning about Holmes and why experts are calling the shooting a well-planned attack. And that was Teresa Garcia reporting. Tonight, fears of an explosion have forced police in Aurora to suspend efforts to get inside Holmes' apartment. Officials will be back tomorrow to try to disarm the booby traps.
A Fayetteville woman's son was in the theater when the shooting began, and he talked with WRAL about the tragedy. Ken Smith continues our coverage from the newsroom. Ken?
You know, Gerald, we've all been inside a movie theater. It's dark. In many cases, it's cozy, comfortable. So we can only imagine the horror those moviegoers went through. Well, tonight, a Fayetteville man takes us inside the chaotic scene of that Denver movie theater and details how he and his girlfriend made it out alive.
I thought I was going to be dead.
The campaigning, the speeches, the rallies, and your vote. It all comes down to tonight from the Triangle.
North Carolina may turn out to be one of the biggest stories of the night.
Across America, the winners and losers, victory.
Thank you, North Carolina.
And concession speeches, analysis by our political experts. Our live team coverage begins right now.
And thank you for joining us for our special election 2012 coverage. I'm Gerald Owens.
And I'm Jackie Hyland. Welcome to WRAL's election headquarters. For the next hour, we'll have results and analysis of all the big races. In the race for governor, Pat McCrory has been declared the winner tonight. He defeated Walter Dalton. Look at the numbers there for yourself. 55% of the vote went to Pat McCrory, 43% to Walter Dalton. That's 87% of the precincts reporting. We're going to get back to this story in just a moment. We have 6 crews live with the candidates tonight in Chicago and Boston, in Charlotte and in Raleigh, along with analysis of the races that are important to you and this state.
And now let's get right to the race that everyone is watching tonight, the one for President of the United States. Let's look at the map here. President Obama with 158 electoral votes so far, compared to Mitt Romney with 154. Very, very tight in not only North Carolina, but around the country. Some of the swing states starting to turn for the president. We, of course, are watching this very closely.
And we are going to take a look now at the numbers for the president, how they break down here in North Carolina. Of course, 15 electoral votes here at stake. You can see that 51% going to Mitt Romney. This is 87% of the precincts reporting, with 48% for Barack Obama. Now, remember, going into this election, Mitt Romney was leading the polls here in North Carolina. Earlier, CBS News exit polling showed that 96% of black voters in North Carolina are backing a second term for President Obama, which is even stronger than the 95% who voted for him 4 years ago. Now, we have crews live with both presidential candidates tonight.
That's right. Ken Smith is in Chicago following the Obama campaign. But we start our coverage in Boston with BRYAN MIMS and Mitt Romney's campaign. BRYAN, how's the mood out there as the numbers start to continue to roll in here?
The suspense has definitely been building throughout the night. The crowd is quiet now, watching the results come in, watching news coverage of the latest election returns. A band has been playing off and on through the night, but right now, as the latest batch of polls close, all eyes are on the screens. A little earlier tonight, when Romney nudged ahead of Obama in Florida, the crowd erupted in cheers. I tell you, it is a razor-close race, and all eyes are on Florida, the key battleground states. Florida, North Carolina, Virginia, Ohio. We're still waiting results from those states. It's too close to call there. A number of speakers have come to the stage this evening. Ed Gillespie, the senior campaign advisor for the Romney campaign, he addressed the several hundred Romney supporters gathered here in the ballroom. We have had video feeds from a number of Republican VIPs across the country. The governor of Pennsylvania addressed the crowd, senator from New Hampshire, and some other noted Republicans, just to keep the momentum going among this crowd. Too early to call anything. So you can definitely sense the excitement, the nervousness, the anticipation is definitely palpable here tonight. The candidate, Mitt Romney, and his running mate Paul Ryan are next door watching the results come in, and they'll take the stage at some point tonight. We don't know when that will be. This is turning out to be a long night as we continue to watch those critical states and the results come in. Back to you.
And Brian, some people wonder if this could be another 2000. Of course, you remember what happened then with the state of Florida. So Florida's still a razor-thin margin. Let's see how it plays out. Brian MIMS in Massachusetts following the Romney campaign. Ken Smith is with the president's campaign in Chicago. And Ken, I know it's cold and rainy outside, but you look warm and comfortable inside. How's the mood there with the Obama people?
Warm and comfortable inside, and the energy is building every 15 minutes, every 20 minutes, every time a state is called for President Obama. The crowd just erupts in cheering. They continue to pour in here at the Lakeside Center in Chicago. But just like what's going on in Boston, there's a nervous energy running through this room. You look at people's faces. Yeah, they're looking at the screen, and sometimes they're smiling. But every time they see a number go for Governor Romney, you can see the tension building in their faces. But for the most part, this is a very energetic crowd. About 15,000 people are expected here. We're told that President Obama, Vice President Biden, their families, they're all gathered together somewhere nearby watching these returns. He is supposed to take that stage behind me sometime later tonight. We don't know when that will be, and of course we don't know when they will arrive here in this hall. But the anticipation is building as we speak, and all eyes are on these huge monitors that are all over this Lakeside Center tonight. Gerald.
Yeah, they're like giant scoreboards as to what's going to happen tonight. Ken Smith live in Chicago, another campaign anxiously awaiting what's going to happen later this evening. Kelsey Carlson is keeping track of how North Carolina is leaning in the race for the White House.
And it's tied. Kelsey, what do those numbers look right now?
Well, I'm actually watching the numbers change here on the board behind me. This is what is so fascinating and so interesting about this tool. It's so interactive. So let's go right into the details, you guys. Let's take a look at the popular vote in North Carolina right now. We're getting closer to that 4 million mark. And in 2008, we had about 4 million votes, 4.2 million votes cast in the state of North Carolina. So we're getting a good look at the total. Still, North Carolina very much in play, considered a swing state, and right now too close to call. So let's go right into the details in the state of North Carolina, county by county. You know, a month or so ago, political experts would not have said that North Carolina was going to be in play because it was leaning toward Mitt Romney. Let's take a look at Wake County in particular. All right, 94% of the precincts reporting, leaning right now toward Mitt Romney, but we've learned from the Board of Elections folks there that early voting numbers are still being counted. So we want to keep an eye on Wake County and a couple of other counties as well. So here's Wake here in the middle, Watauga, Pitt, and Wilson and Forsyth counties. Those are the counties that typically tell us which way the state will lean in a presidential election. Right now we see a variety of colors, and that Wake County right there in the middle, we want to watch this because we're waiting for a good number of votes to still come in, and this may be our predictor as to which way North Carolina is going to be called tonight. Another interesting aspect here to the county by county analysis. Here's Mecklenburg County. Here's Asheville over here. Of course, Boone's up there in Watauga County. And, you know, we've got Forsyth and Guilford counties here. Those are the metropolitan areas. Right now, Wake County is the only red county. So we're continuing to watch the numbers come in. And again, we're getting closer to that 4 million mark. So we'll keep you posted. We're also going to look at the governor's race, congressional seats, the balance of power, the General Assembly, and in Congress as well. So we'll be back on this board in just a bit.
And Kelsey, are you seeing any surprises at all? And how is early voting playing into all of this?
Well, you know, the big surprise, and it took us a bit to figure this out, was Wake County. We could not figure out there for a while we had so many precincts reporting, but the numbers were so low. And we did figure out what the missing piece there is the early voting numbers had not been tallied yet. So these numbers could change in the next 5 minutes, and we could know what Wake County is actually, you know, which way it's leading, for sure.
And some very active early voters here in not only Wake County, but throughout the entire state. And the president in 2008 won Wake County by 64,000 votes. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Very interesting. All right, well, the other big race tonight, the race, of course, force for governor of North Carolina. Republican Pat McCrory easily captured the governor's race tonight, becoming the first Republican to hold North Carolina's highest office in 20 years.
And here are the numbers, 55% to 43%. This is pretty much how it has been polling the whole time. A lot of people saying Walter Dalton got a late jump on this race. Pat McCrory has been running for 5 years. Of course, Beverly Perdue deciding not to run late in the game, so he's had a name recognition issue and also a fundraising issue. So Pat McCrory winning this race easily, not a surprise to anyone.
And he thanked his supporters a little earlier. We heard from Pat McCrory. We also heard from Walter Dalton.
Yes, we did. We have crews with both candidates for governor tonight.
Bruce Mildorf is with the Dalton campaign here in Raleigh, but we're going to begin with Amanda Lamb. She's live in Charlotte tonight, where McCrory spoke to supporters about an hour ago.